everyone. I've been really in the mood to go through and declutter some products, so I thought I'd just jump on camera and do that with you. I'm not going to be too long in my intro, but I did want to mention that I think a lot of these products, I'm not necessarily decluttering them, more so I'm retiring them. And you'll see what I mean as we go through some of these eyeshadow palettes. Just some of these products I've used too much, they're too old, they're just not salvageable, they're not things I feel comfortable giving away, and so they are being retired. So let's start with eyes. We'll do eyes, lips, face. So eyeshadow palettes are going to be the first thing. And I don't imagine I'm going to get rid of most of my eyeshadow palettes. I just did an eyeshadow collection video and I showed you swatches, my favorite shades from each palette. I went more in depth about the brands and the quality and the color stories, and I showed you eye looks that I made with them. So if you'd like to see a little bit more of an in-depth video about my eyeshadow palettes in particular, then I will leave that linked or in the cards. And yeah, I do have a couple new eyeshadow palettes, I think, since I've done that video. The first one is this quad from LH, what is this? LH Cosmetics. It's the Linda Hallberg. And I got this quad very recently. This just came in the mail a few days ago, and I am so excited. I've only swatched it. I haven't worn it on my eyes yet, but it's beautiful. I love these types of colors, these like light shimmery, multi-dimensional type of colors, so I'm really excited to have this. And then I also just received this in PR. This is the What's Up Beauty Desert Monsoon palette, and surprisingly I've had it for like a couple of months now maybe, and I've already reached for it a ton. Like, I think in my tracked uses I've already reached for it over 20 times. I just love these colors, and I love how they are colorful, but they're very wearable for me personally, and I do love the different types of mattes that you get. It's just been a great palette to reach for, so really glad I have this. And then I do have its counterpart somewhere. Not its counterpart, but just the other palette from this brand. This is the Geodes, and this is also gorgeous. This is such a Natasha color story. I reach for these colors all the time and I love it, so glad to have both of these. I do like that they are small and compact too, beautiful packaging. So these are some of my newer palettes. Definitely going to hold on to these. And then I do have some singles here. I don't know necessarily if I want to go into these specifically and declutter them one by one. I feel like I'd want to do some more in-depth swatching, and so I might keep that for a separate video. But here's a little quick rundown of the singles that I have. I have a bunch of purples and lilacs in here because I'm really gravitating towards this color story currently. A couple random singles in these other palettes here. Let's see, I think that's it. No wait, I have a couple more. I think all of these are from Sydney Grace. It's just not very organized currently. I would like to go through and maybe spend some more time swatching these out and making sure I don't have a ton of duplicates and which formulas I prefer, etc. So gonna hold on to all of these. And then I do have this one quad here from Charlotte Tilbury, and I'm not going to show you the inside because I'm currently panning it, and so I do have updates in my Project Pan updates, but I'm planning to have this finished, like finishing this entire quad, at least by the end of the year, hopefully sooner than that. So this will be something that I don't need to declutter because it's kind of on its way out anyway. And then I did do an entire video a couple weeks ago where I went through a bunch of my ColourPop palettes and I removed all of the shades using a magnet, and then I took them out, rearranged them, and then I created my perfect ColourPop palette. So I have a video showing you how I put that together. I did a ton of in-depth swatches, and this is like the palette that I created that's like my perfect travel palette. And then I did do a YouTube short where I swatched all of these out, so if you'd like to see swatches of what's in this palette, I have that available. And then these 3 palettes I am going to declutter. I was talking to one of my friends after I did that ColourPop video, and she said, hey, it's actually funny that you mentioned that because I've been wanting to create a palette like that, and I didn't know that the ColourPop palettes were removable magnets like that. And I told her, well, let me just give these to you, and then you can take them out, you can play around with them, see what colors you like, and if you can create a palette from these, then that's perfect. And I did warn her, I was like, you know, it's mostly browns. A lot of these shades are very similar. And she said, no, that is actually great for me. I do prefer those types of shades. I prefer more neutral, natural colors, and she does have a deeper skin tone than me, so I think a lot of these are going to be very natural looking on her. And then there is still plenty of like sparkly shades in there for her to play with, so I think this is going to work out really well for her. So I'm going to put them in this little gift baggie and give that to her next time I see her, and that way she can play around and create her own perfect palette too. I do have another ColourPop palette, and this one I didn't include in that video because the pans are a different size, and I do really like this palette. I'm going to keep it. Let's talk about some of those palettes that I'm going to be officially retiring. I don't think that these are going to be surprises for people because I've had them for so many years and I've used them so much. Definitely the first one I want to retire is the ABH Sultry palette. I've used this over 300 times. I had considered maybe doing a pan that palette with this or some sort of challenge where I tried to hit pan on every shade. But just from my experience with panning that Charlotte Tilbury quad, as much as I'm enjoying it and as much as I like the shades in here, I don't really feel like panning a palette is something I would enjoy. I think I like the idea of it way more than actually doing it. So I am going to officially retire this. I have a lot of great memories with this. I wore shades from this palette on my wedding day, and then I did scrape out the rest of the twig shade. I scraped it out into this little container, and I was originally going to try to use it as like an eyebrow powder or a contour, but it is just way too dark, way too pigmented for those sorts of things. So I tried. I reached for this over 300 times. I think I've gotten more than enough use out of this, so I'm going to officially retire this palette. Another palette I'm officially retiring is this one here from Tarte. I've mentioned this in my past few videos where I talk about my eyeshadows or I do declutter videos. This is something I'll have to eventually declutter because whenever I purchased it, it was already pretty old. Like, it was a limited edition palette that I was able to find randomly available a long time after it had already been released. So by the time I purchased it, it was already pretty old, and I've just had it for so many years. It's a beautiful palette. I loved these colors, but I'm ready to pass it on. I just kind of, every time I see it in my collection, I'm like, oh yeah, you're probably a lot older than I'm even admitting to myself. I should probably pass this on. Quickly, I'm going to go through some palettes that I know I'm not passing on, I'm not decluttering. First one is the Enduring Love palette by Sid and Grace. Beautiful palette. Same with all of my Shroud Cosmetics ones. I have the It's Freaking Bats palette. I have the Creepy Cute palette. This is, I believe, one of my oldest eyeshadow palettes, but I am not ready to get rid of it just yet. Getting rid of this would leave a pretty big hole in my collection because I don't have beautiful performing pastels like this, and so I'm going to hold on to it for now. At some point I'll probably have to get rid of it, but that day is not today. And then the third Shroud palette is this one, the Arcana palette. Holding on to this one as well. You know I'm keeping my rose quartz. It's one of my favorite palettes. I love this color story. I love the formula. Definitely holding on to that one. Same with this Geology Cosmetics palette. I love this palette. Definitely holding on to that one. And then same with this Too Faced one. It's just such a great staple palette. It's got beautiful, beautiful mattes, beautiful shimmers too. I definitely like the matte formula better, but I love this palette. Great palette. Same with this one, Juicy Olive, not getting rid of this one. And then this one is my Lethal Cosmetics palette. This is like a custom-made palette of singles. I did take out one of them, and I have it in that lavender palette that I created. But definitely holding on to this one. Beautiful formula. Would love to get some more Lethal shades in the future. And this one from Soft Glam, this is the Soft Glam Mini from ABH. I am going to pass this on. I have a friend who I think would really appreciate having this like compact palette with these nice colors. So this is a pretty significant percentage of my collection, my eyeshadow palette collection that I'm passing on. 3 palettes from ColourPop and then 3 other palettes gone, and then the rest I am keeping. And I will do a more in-depth look at my single shadows at a later time. So I have some odds and ends here. The rest of my eye products that aren't eyeshadow palettes. And I don't think that this is an overwhelming situation for me. I have, what, four mascaras? This one is the one I'm currently using, and then I have a bunch of minis as backups. That works for me. Same with these 2 primers. I actively use both of these. These are great. I only have 1 concealer Can you believe? And it's a mini from Hourglass. And I'll be honest with you, this is not my favorite concealer. I think it's, I don't know how to explain it. I think I need to use it a little bit more before I have formulated thoughts, but it's just okay. I think I prefer a creamier formula, and I just don't think that this is it. One brow gel. This is almost empty, so I'll just finish that one. All these brow pencils I like. I have one from Ulta Beauty, one from PYT, one from e.l.f., Milani, and this one is from CoverGirl. And I like these. These are all fine. I kind of just wear one for a little bit, switched out with another one. And then I have 3 pencil liners. They are all from Essence. So I have a dark brown one, a black one, and then a cream colored one. I use all of these pretty regularly, so I'm going to keep these. I have a single here from Essence. And I have been trying to reach for this a little bit more, and it's like a bouncy cream formula. I don't know exactly what the formula is, but it kind of reminds me of like a ColourPop shadow. And I am able to pick up a little bit on my finger, but I'm not really able to get the opacity that I want on my lids. I've had this for a few years now, and I just think the formula has dried up. And so I am going to pass this one on. And then this one here from ColourPop, this is a liquid liner pen. This is old, and I'm reaching for it a few more times, and then I'm gonna officially like consider it finished. And then this one from ABH, this is a waterproof cream color in the shade Jet. And this one has cracked open. Can you see that? It's like cracked open. And I have had this, I think for like 5 or 6 years. It definitely feels very dry. Like I don't think it's gonna perform the way it used to back in the day. I wore this a ton though. I don't know if I have an exact number of uses, but I reached for this all the time at some point. But if I do want a creamy black liner, I do already have one from Essence, and so I can pass this one on too. So out of all of these miscellaneous eye products, I am decluttering 2. So the next category is lip products, and I have been having so much fun trying new formulas and brands, but I've also been able to finish quite a few products, which is awesome. So I feel like I'm rotating through this portion of my collection really well, and I'm very proud of that. I thought I had 2 of these. This is Everything Lip Balm, but I can't find the other one. I don't know where it could be. It might just be in like a random coat pocket or backpack, but I searched, I couldn't find it. So I just have this one. I love it. I do plan on eventually finishing it. I kind of just keep it by my bedside table. And then I have, why don't I try to organize this a little better? And then all of these lip liners I'm keeping. I have 9 lip liners. 8 of them are from that NYX Slim Lip Pencil formula. I love that formula, and I love these colors. You can see some of them are like really, really short because I reach for them all the time. And then I have this little bit of the NYX Nude Suede Shoes left, and this one, or is this Nude Suede Shoes? I think this is Sugar Glass. And I'm almost finished with this one, so I'm going to keep all of these. I like having different colors and undertones depending on what lip color I'm going for. I wear lip liner pretty much every day, so keeping all of these. Definitely the same with these glosses. So I have 2 of the lip baths from Charlotte Tilbury. Love these. I have this one from Bare Minerals. This is the Mineralist Lip Gloss Balm. I have the shade Vision. This is one of the ones that doesn't have any glitter in it, and I like the color. Like, it's a little bit of a lighter pink color. It's not very opaque, so it gives like a really nice pinky color. It pairs really nicely just over a lip liner, and I do like it, but it's one of those formulas that you do need to reapply pretty often. It's not very long lasting, and at times it can make your lips feel a tiny bit dry whenever it wears off, so you have to reapply it. These ones from Charlotte Tilbury don't do that. These are like super nourishing, but they are a little bit heavier and thicker feeling, so depending on what you like, one of these might work better for you. If you like more lightweight, balmy formulas, then the Bare Minerals one is good. I'm in the process of just reaching for this more so that I can finish it eventually. And then, of course, I love the lip baths. I have this one here from Rare Beauty. I really like this one too. This is in the shade Nearly Neutral. and I would say it's kind of in between the lightweight, not very long lasting formula of the Bare Minerals one and the thick moisturizing formula of the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Balm. Like, it's kind of in the middle between the two. And I really like all three of these formulas for different reasons. Same with the Lisa Eldridge one. I have the shade Muse. If you can tell, I like a very specific color of lip gloss, kind of like those browny, pinky, nude shades for me. This one I would say is probably closer to the lip bath than anything. And I just love all of these, so I'm keeping all of them. I have these two lip oils here, and I have been reaching for these a lot more lately. And I do really like the colors, and I like the packaging. This is a lip oil, so it is different from the glosses, and it is a more lightweight formula. If you're into that kind of thing, I think you would really like these, but I tend to prefer more nourishing formulas. I thought maybe it was just like a winter thing when my lips are drier, but we're in the spring, early summer months, and I'm still preferring a thicker, more moisturizing lip gloss. I think it's just a personal preference that's changed for me over the years. I've also preferred moisturizing lipsticks and like tinted lip balms over traditional lipsticks and liquid lipsticks. So I think it's just like things are changing for me, and so I am going to declutter both of these. For my liquid lipsticks, this one here from Nabla, this is the shade Sweet Gravity. I'm actually using this as a cream blush, so I am going to keep this. I have 3 liquid lipsticks. I don't think I need to keep, I mean, I'm keeping Palermo for sure. This is a beautiful color, and I can use it as a cream blush too. I don't think I need both of these reds. Like, the undertones are different, but I am not reaching for reds that often. They aren't too different. This is Beso, and then this is Fiery. Fiery is just a little bit more blue-based. That's really the only difference. So technically, I would, if I were just choosing based on color, I would probably go for Fiery just because I do like those more blue-based colors. But Beso is a much newer formula. Fiery I've had for quite a few years now. And so I would prefer to keep the like fresher version of the two. I just really like those like bright lips sometimes, those bright pops of color. So I'm going to keep Beso and pass on Fiery. I have a few stick lip products, and I really like these. I have been trying quite a few of them over the years. I have this Ulta Gloss stick. This one's in Chill Pill. Beautiful, beautiful neutral color. Love the formula. It is glossy, and it's just a really nice casual lip. I have this one from M Cosmetics. This one is in the shade Venetian Rose, and it's the Lip Cushion Tinted Lip Luminizer. And this one is very similar in color, but it's more pigmented, but very, very, very similar. So if you're looking for a more affordable version of this M Cosmetics one, Chill Pill is very, very similar, just a little bit lighter. And then I have this one from Kaja. This is the Heart Melter Moisture Melt Lip Gloss Stick in the shade Crush Hard. And this one is also very similar. You can see I have a type, but this one is more pinky purple. And then lastly, I have this one from About Face. It's the Cherry Pick Lip Color Butter in the shade Pink Pina. And I think I wanted the guava shade a little bit more, but it was just never in stock, and so I finally got this one, and I really, really like this color too. I think this is beautiful. It's slightly peachier. It doesn't have like the mauve-y undertone that the other ones do. And I love these. I reach for these types of things all the time. Yeah, I think these are great. I would like to try more lip products like that. These ones are kind of like tinted lip balms. And I do like all of these, but I don't know if I necessarily am going to reach for them over the other ones in my collection. So this is the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Tinted Lip Balm with Hyaluronic Acid in the shade Life is Pink. And this is a great like casual hot pink tinted balm. I am not going to reach for this over these other ones, so I'm passing this one on. And then I have 2 of these like berry tinted products. These are both supposed to be like dupes for the Clinique Black Honey lip products. So this one is from e.l.f. It's the e.l.f. Sheer Slick Lipstick. I believe the shade, yeah, it's in Black Cherry. And then this one is from Burt's Bees. It's the Gloss and Glow Glossy Balm in the shade Eat, Drink, and Be Cherry. The Burt's Bees one is more red and the e.l.f. one is more purpley brown. And so they are different enough that I would like to keep both of them for now. Now for lipsticks, I'm keeping the majority of these. I have two of the ones from Lisa Eldridge. This is Velvet Cinnabar, and this is a gorgeous dark orangey brick brown color. And then I have one of the Luxuriously Lucent ones in the shade Rose Official. I still want to get Kitten Mischief, but I have mentioned before that I prefer the matte Lisa Eldridge formula over the Charlotte Tilbury one, but I prefer the Charlotte Tilbury Kissing Satin formula over the Lisa Eldridge one. I'll likely still get Kitten Official, and if there are any other shades that really speak to me, they do have a lot of beautiful, very unique undertones, and they have more shade options than Charlotte Tilbury does. So I'm gonna keep these. And then I have two, let's look at all my Charlotte Tilbury. So I have two in that special fancy packaging. I think these are from the Look of Love collection. I have one in, this is Wedding Bells. This is a beautiful like nude color on me. I think it works better for me than Pillow Talk does. And then I also have Nude Romance, which is part of their satin formula. And it's a little bit more brown, a little bit more peachy. Definitely holding on to both of these. I have this one here, a matte in Pillow Talk Medium. Really love that one. Keeping. And then I have a mini of Pillow Talk, and I have finished a full size of Pillow Talk. And this one is nice too. They all look incredibly similar, but I'm still keeping all of them. And then this last one is a, what's it called? Star Lips? I don't remember what these are called, what this formula is, but this is Walk of No Shame. And this is beautiful, kind of like a glossy tinted balm. Keeping, I have this Tarte one here in the shade Salt Life, and it's like very, very similar to all the other ones that I have. It's maybe just slightly more purple, and I find that I prefer the Charlotte Tilbury ones, so I'm going to pass on this one. And let's see, this is Urban Decay Rush, and that's a pretty color too, but again, it's not so different from everything else that I need to have this one, so passing on that one as well. This one I just got. This is from LH Cosmetics. This is their Fantastic in Pink Opal. And I've only worn it on my lips one time, and so I don't have like a full-on review or anything, but this is really beautiful. I really like this. Keeping. Same with this Ulta Beauty Radiant Shine in the shade Fabulous. This is a tinted balm as well. And this one's like the most berry purpley one out of all of them. Beautiful. This one here from Milani is one of their fetish lipsticks, and it's in the shade Lingerie. It's like a very warm pink. If I want a warm pink, I'll probably reach for the Lisa Eldridge one. So I think I can pass this one on. This one from Perricone MD, this is a lip balm and it has an SPF in it. I'm gonna swatch it right here. And it's just like a tinted balm. I probably should have had it in the other section, but I love this. It's great for on the go when I want to make sure my lips are protected from the sun. And then I have two lipsticks here from Besame. This one I just got in Portrait Pink. This was a gift with purchase. Look how opaque those are. That is like a super warm, super light corally pink. And then I have this one, It's Going to Stain My Arm, I Know It, and this is Wild Orchid. And this is, oh my goodness, a beautiful, beautiful berry orchid purple color. That one is definitely gonna stain my arm. So yeah, is there anything else from here that I think I should pass on? No, I think we're good. So I'm keeping all of these lip products and then I'm passing on 7. Those were all of my lip products. Now let's look at face products. I'm gonna pull these categories all together because they are relatively small. So I have color correctors over here, and then a powder foundation, a few powders over here, some primers. foundations, and then setting sprays here. I'm gonna keep these all upright, but I'm keeping all the setting sprays. This e.l.f. Coconut Dewy Setting Spray is halfway done, and I do like the scent of it. I do like that it smells like coconuts. It's very nice and refreshing. I just got this one from LH Cosmetics. I haven't worn it on my face yet, but I will say the mister on this is divine. Very nice experience. Old Reliable All-Nighter. And then this one from ColourPop, this is the no filter one. This is almost empty. This is in my project pan. And then I just got this one as a gift with purchase from Besame. First impressions, this is super scented, very perfumey. I am going to try it out a few times, but if that scent is too much, I might just consider passing this on while it's new. And then, so I'm keeping all 5 of those. No surprise, I wear setting sprays pretty often, so it's not difficult for me to work my way through them. And it's not like a concerning amount of products for me. And there are so many setting sprays out there that I'm excited to try. So there'll probably be sometime later in like the far future, I'm probably going to start trying out some more setting sprays from other brands and do like a best and worst setting spray video. But that's not for a very long time. It's just something that I have in the works. And then I have 3 liquid foundations. This one from A Cosmetics, it's the CC Plus Illumination. I'm in the shade Fair. This one's almost empty. I'm working my way through it. And then I have the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation in the shade 2 Neutral, and then Kojen Dough in the shade 213. Keeping both of these as well. I don't really have a ton of liquid foundations, and so I'm good with the ones I have, but there are a few definitely that I would like to try out. And so I'm kind of whittling away at my foundation so that I don't have too many, and that way I can feel comfortable going out and trying some more brands. I have, surprisingly, a lot of primers here. I don't typically have this many primers, but I did get some in PR. I got these 5 from Smashbox, and so I haven't opened the majority of them yet. I may have opened 1 or 2, but I am going to go through and spend some time with these and try them and see which ones I like best. And then I have this one from Charlotte Tilbury, the Brightening Youth Glow. This one is almost empty. It's on its way out. And then I have this one from Tarte. It's a mini poreless, timeless smoothing primer. This one is actually almost empty too. I'm probably more than halfway done with it. And then this is the last of a couple of the Primed and Peachy Cooling Matte Skin Perfecting Primers from Too Faced. I bought a bunch of travel sizes of these when they were discontinued, and I only have 1 left, so holding on to that one. And then this one here from Charlotte Tilbury, it's the Wonder Glow Instant Soft Focus. It has the same texture as the brightening one, and I do like that. It even has the same scent. I don't know. I did really like this one from Charlotte Tilbury, and this one is pretty similar. So I do think I'll keep this one too. So not decluttering any primers. And then same with these color correctors. I have one from Makeup Revolution, one from Becca, from Pixie, one from Exa, and then one from Tarte. And I like all of these. I'm keeping all of them. Wait, I'm also keeping all my powders too. Okay, so this was a pretty useless section. This is a portion of my makeup routine that's like very utilitarian, if that's the right word to use, where I just have some and I use them, and I'm not super picky. Like, once I find things that I like, then I just keep buying them again, like these Besame powders, this RCMA powder. Like, I like these powders and I keep repurchasing them. This one from Besame, it's the violet powder. It's almost empty. There's only just a little bit around the edges, so I do have a refill of it. And then I did buy another compact with the, it's like the Peggy powder, I think the 1946 powder or something like that. And I wanted to get a light powder, but just with a yellow undertone instead of the purple, just to switch it up or maybe use it for touch-ups. And then I have really worked down the amount of loose powders that I had in my collection. And so the only one I have left, other than the RCMA, which is like a staple powder for me, is this one from Essence, and this one is almost empty. So keeping both of these. And then I have this powder foundation from Makeup Revolution. This one is also almost empty, on its way out as well. So I'm not decluttering anything from my base category. And now let's move on to blushes, highlighters, bronzers, and contours. So I'm gonna dump these out and put them in their respective categories real quick. So I have bronzers here, face palettes, cream and liquid, blushes and highlighters, powder highlighters, and then powder blushes over here. So I just recently got this duo from LH Cosmetics. This is it says Duo Dimension, and I think the name for this version is Area. Like they have a couple different color combos. And this one is like a more cool toned purpley mauve duo. I just wore these on my cheeks today for the first time, and they are very glowy, but they're beautiful. And so definitely keeping these. I just got them. I would like to swatch the blushes because in my head I think I have like all different undertones and finishes, but I'm actually not sure, and I haven't done that in a while. So I am going to swatch these out. I'm gonna try to keep them like in the same color family. So these two from Essence, I really like this one here. It's like a super light pink color. The reason I really like this is because whenever I put on a cream blush and I set it with this powder, it gives me the most beautiful like baby pink cheek effect. It's gorgeous, and it sets my cream blush, so it's like perfect because it's not so pigmented that it's gonna look clownish. And so I'm definitely keeping this one. The packaging is broken, so I'm super annoyed about that. I think I might repress it into this duo from Charlotte Tilbury, and I was going to do that with this one here from Essence. This is the Satin Touch Blush in the shade Satin Love, but I do have some other shades in my collection that are really similar to it, so I don't see the point in like repressing it into another packaging that works better. So this one and the Buxom Seychelles, these ones are really similar. This first one's from Buxom, and then this one is from Essence. It's maybe a little bit more pink than the Buxom one, but yeah, I don't think I need both. The packaging being broken, it broke within like a month of wearing it too. So this one from Flower Beauty is also pretty similar. Actually, no, it's not. It's more peachy. Okay, and then I just swatched this one here. I don't think you're gonna see it very easily. It's Ecstasy from Charlotte Tilbury. This is also a really beautiful, very light pink color, but it's more satin, and it is beautiful. It's a beautiful formula too. I can try to swatch this one in the shade Blooming. I don't know if you're gonna really see it very well. Can you see that? I don't know. The swatch isn't really gonna do it much justice. So I'm keeping these two. And then this one here from Charlotte Tilbury in Ecstasy, I'm also gonna keep. I love that color, that formula. And then this swatch over here is from Flower Beauty, and it's in the shade Spiced Petal. It's a little bit more of like an orangey color. That's beautiful. And then the other two like orangey blushes that I have are this one from M Cosmetics in the shade Magic Hour. And then this one is technically a bronzer from Urban Decay, but I always used it as a warm blush. So this is the Urban Decay one, and then this is the one from M Cosmetics. And it's definitely like the warmest, most orangey blush in my collection. Yeah, these are all really pretty. I'm gonna keep all those too. And then this one I'm definitely not getting rid of. This is Makeup Revolution Beloved. I love this color so much. Perfect for spring and summer. Definitely keeping that one. This blush is from PYT Beauty in the shade Exhale. And this is also another really, really light blush, very similar to the Essence one. But while the Essence one is a little bit more warm, peachy, this one is more cool toned, pinky purple. Again, I don't think you're gonna be able to see it very well. They are very, very similar. It's just the slight difference in undertone. So, and this one, it builds up a little bit more, and so if I just wanted to use it on its own, it still holds up on its own, whereas the Essence one, you kind of need to pair it with other things. So I like that these make the level of pigment of my other blushes more adjustable, more customizable, so definitely keeping both of those. And then these two here are, actually they're not that similar at all, are they? And then these are the last three in my powder blush collection, so I'm going to swatch these real quick. The lighter and the deeper version of that duo, these are like super purpley, and they are very, very glowy. And I like pairing them together. I think they're really beautiful together, but they're very glowy on their own. And they're just very unique, and I like having these kinds of cooler toned purple colors. Definitely keeping. And then this last one is from ColourPop. It's in the shade Flirt Alert. So this one's not nearly as cool toned. It's got even maybe a little bit of red in it, which is really nice. So I really do like the gamut of undertones that I have. I think this is like a very well-rounded blush collection. I don't have too many duplicates, and I do like pairing these together, and I think especially with the cream blushes that I'll show later on, I really feel good about the range of colors that I have, and I really like all of these, so glad to keep them, and fine with passing on the Essence one because the Buxom one is just so similar and the packaging on the Buxom one isn't broken. Let's do my bronzers next. I don't have a ton of bronzers, but I do have a few in palettes here. And I don't really wear a ton of bronzer like I used to back in the day, so I'm gonna pull out my cream versions as well so we can do them all together. All right, this one is Bahama Mama from The Balm. I did used to wear this a ton. I decluttered it, and then I'd given it to my mom, and then she gave it back to me, and it's just been so many years old. I don't even remember how old this is. It's probably before 2017. Like, I don't even know how many years old it is. And I really just don't reach for it that much. I think it's too dark for my skin tone. And it's a beautiful formula. I'm just not reaching for it. So I do think I'm going to pass this one on, or I'm going to retire it. And then this one from The Balm, I'm not sure. I think this is also discontinued, but this is the Take Home the Bronze in the shade Oliver. I'm in the process of finishing this one from Bare Minerals, so there's not a ton left, so I'm keeping this one. And then I'm keeping Becca. I love this color. I love the undertone. I love the depth. I think it's a beautiful formula. I'm sad it's discontinued. And so I just really love these ones. I love lighter bronzers. And so this fits into that category. So I do think I'll keep this one. But it's like, I know I'm keeping these palettes from Charlotte Tilbury, and there's 2 bronzers and a contour in here. I haven't tried this one in this newer Charlotte Tilbury palette. I haven't tried it on my cheeks yet. It does look very warm in swatches, especially compared to these two. Or maybe I can use it as like a bronzy blush instead of as a bronzer, because it does seem like it's very warm. I like these two just fine, so I'm gonna keep these two. This contour one from Charlotte Tilbury is almost empty, so I'm gonna keep that. I think I do want to keep this one. I don't use it a ton, admittedly, but I'm also very pale right now. I reached for it a lot when I first had it, and I do remember it being very easy to blend. So yeah, I'm gonna keep this one for now. Out of all the bronzers, I'm only passing on one currently. Now let's look at my cream blushes. I can take this one out and Spotlight, because these are cream highlights. I am keeping the 3 wands from Charlotte Tilbury. This one from Pinkasm Sunset. This is the newest one that just came out. I wore this, and then I tried to wear this blush over it, and it was way too much blush, but like obviously it's gonna be way too much blush. Those are both super pigmented, and I think they would have been fine on their own. So I didn't have the best first impression of this, but also I was very much overdoing it, trying to use 2 new blushes at once, 2 very pigmented ones at once. So I'm gonna keep this. I think this is gonna be a beautiful, like, sunburnt, bright, summery blush. I think this is gonna be beautiful for that, and I already know I love the formula, so keeping all 3 of these. Pillow Talk, you might argue, is more of a highlighter, and so it really just depends on your skin tone and where and how you're applying it, but keeping all 3 of these. And then definitely keeping this one from Merit. I love this. This is in the shade Beverly Hills. I reach for this all the time. I just wore it again yesterday, and I just love this color. I love how easy it is to blend out, how easy it is to layer. I can wear it under powder, over powder. I just really, really love this. This is one of my favorite Merit products I've tried. And then these 2 I really like also. This is from M Cosmetics. It's in the shade Rose Milk. I was surprised by how pigmented this was. I thought it was going to be a lot more buildable, and so I always have to be careful when I wear it, but it is beautiful. Like the serum drops, yeah, serum blush, that's how it's described. I think that's very accurate. It leaves a very beautiful creamy effect on the skin, and so if you like to wear cream blush and nothing else, I think this is beautiful because it almost gives that very highlighted effect, but it also just has enough pigment and works well under powders as well. So really like that one. And same with this one from Tarte. This is in the shade Pink Sky. I love this color. This is like a really nice blush color for me. And this one is like a drier cream blush. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's pigmented and it works again over or under powders. And I like that this is really, really easy to work with because you just kind of dip your sponge in and dab it on and you can build it up. I just really like it, and I do like that it is a drier formula. If I'm going for a less glowy look or I want a cream blush that's going to last a long time, I always reach for this one. So I'm keeping all of my cream blushes, and if I haven't said it already, I am keeping both of these face palettes. I didn't realize when I purchased this one, this is the Lovegasm. It's the Glowgasm face palette in the Lovegasm version. Back in 2019, they came out with 2 palettes, and I really, really wanted the lighter one. And when they brought this back, I thought this was the lighter one, so I bought it. The colors in the light version, I think, would have worked a lot better for me. So again, I don't know for sure if I would have purchased it if I had known that beforehand, but I do love the formula from the face palettes. This one, the Nudegasm version, is very, very well loved, and I like it a lot, so I am glad to have another version of this formula. And these are very unique, beautiful blushes, so I think that they're gonna work fine in my collection. It's not like I have a ton of shades like that. So I'm gonna make a greater effort to reach for this palette more. And yeah, just wanted to let you know that. I did a video where I swatched both of these palettes and I compared these shades with other Charlotte Tilbury cheek products in my collection, just to give you a really good idea of what these colors look like compared to other Charlotte Tilbury products, so that you can also make a more informed decision on whether or not you'd like to try this. So yeah, I'm keeping both of these, but those are just my thoughts on this new face palette from Charlotte Tilbury. Now let's look at highlights. I don't wear powder highlights as much as I used to. Whenever powder highlights, especially blinding highlights, were all the trend, I really loved it. I enjoyed that, but it's not the look I'm going for anymore. And so I'm gonna keep this one from Charlotte Tilbury. It's almost finished, and it is a beautiful natural formula, and I'm gonna keep these 3 liquid ones. I love Spotlight so much. This is easily my favorite wand out of all the ones that I've tried. The contour wand, I had Peachgasm previously, and I have these 3 here, and still Spotlight is my favorite. Beautiful, beautiful formula and color. I like these 2 as mixers. I make my own cream blushes pretty often with other products in my collection, and this is a stick formula from Cocoa Kind. I really like this one. I don't like the Milani one as much as the Cocoa Kind one, but sometimes I do want something a little bit more liquidy as a mixing medium, and so I reach for this one instead, keeping all 3 of those. I do think I'm gonna keep both of these minis from Becca. I imagine I'll reach for them enough that I could finish them at some point. And I like the undertones. I love the Becca formula, so I'm gonna keep both of these. Same with this Becca Berlin Girl Glow highlighter. This is a gorgeous highlighter. I finished an entire Berlin Girl Glow highlighter previously, so I'm glad I was able to get my hands on another one before Becca went out of business. This one from Laura Geller, I also really like this one too. This is one of my oldest products in my collection probably, but I still really love this formula, the Big Gelato formula, and I like the Peach Glow. I think that adds something unique to my highlight collection. This one from Essence, I do think I'm ready to pass on. It's just too finicky for me. Like, sometimes I wear it and it's beautiful and it's subtle, but sometimes I put it on and it's like way too powdery and heavy looking on my skin. It just doesn't work for me, and if I want something like that, I have I would rather reach for this one over this one. So I'm gonna pass this one on. And then this one from Melt. I'm torn because I do really like this and I like the formula and I think it's beautiful, but it's just so blinding. Like, it's hard to sheer out. It's hard to wear naturally. And if I do want that natural wet looking highlighter, I can reach for something else. But it is still really beautiful, and I can sheer it out. It just takes a little bit of work. I think I still want to keep this one just for a little bit longer. Maybe in my next declutter, whenever that happens, it might not make the cut, but I want to keep it, especially because My other gold champagne highlighter I'm almost finished with. So I didn't really get rid of a ton of cheek products either. One bronzer, one blush, one highlighter. So yeah, when you look at my entire collection as a whole, this isn't like the world's biggest declutter. Just with the way I wear makeup and the way I bring new makeup in, it's not very realistic for me to have like huge declutters all the time. It was just kind of weighing on me. I had like a couple products in here that I just knew I wasn't going to reach for anymore, and I wanted to formally declutter them on my channel just to keep you in the loop of what I was keeping and what I wasn't. Some of these I'm going to pass on to friends. Some of these I'm just going to retire because they're much too old to pass on to somebody else. Like I said, I might do a single eyeshadow declutter video at another time. But in the meantime, that's everything I have. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!